y'all. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was laughing with the Kathy and Lisa interaction. It tickled me. But let's get into the video. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up and we're at Dorit's house. We see Phoenix. I like Phoenix. She has such a personality. And when she was counting down the time, like she was giving her mom to talk to Kyle on FaceTime. And Dorit was like, give me 10 minutes. And she said 5, 4. And I was like, Phoenix runs the house. I really like her. I just like kids with personalities, just like I like Mason on Married to Medicine, because he's like a 90-year-old man trapped in a 6-year-old body. Like his energy is always very like, I've been here before. And so I like those kind of kids. So Dorit's on the phone and, the scene opens up and Dorit is FaceTiming Kyle. And we know Kyle is in Georgia filming for Halloween. I just saw the trailer for it. Them not my type of movies. I know Halloween is coming up, and I'm excited. I'm getting my costume together and everything. But like certain Halloween movies, I like spooky Halloween movies. It don't need to be Hills Have Eyes. I don't need to be like Cabin in the Woods energy where I got to watch my back every 5 minutes because someone coming to, no, I don't need that. Halloween gives me nightmares. Like I'm gonna have to watch like a cartoon movie after I go see it to calm my nerves. I need, so no, but we see her FaceTime Kyle. Kyle are on the phone and they're just talking, and you can kind of tell that Kyle is like anxious in the phone, or she's like, is that the word I want to use? Yeah, she just seemed very like in distress, like very like wired up. And maybe that's because she was like just got off like doing a scene, like a scary scene, or like, some people who are actors, they get totally like immersed in the character. So maybe that's what she was doing. But basically Kyle was just like, oh girl, catch me up on what happened at Crystal's party. So Dorit tells her like, everything was fine until Lisa left, but the party still went on. And like, Kyle's like, why did she leave? And then Dorit basically explains like, because Kathy was there and she was still uncomfortable. And Kyle's whole thing is like, I don't get why Lisa is that uncomfortable. Like I get why she is because of what happened, but most of the negative things that were said, to my knowledge, were directed towards me. And Kyle's whole thing is like, maybe I don't need to know the full extent of what was said because like, I don't want to get to a point where I'm not talking to my family again or we can't come back from it. And we know that like Kyle and her sisters have like a very contentious relationship, and it is predicated on their mama. Like, I don't get how they like, what's the word? It's not vilify because she's not a villain. I don't get how they can't, I'll say that because I can't think of the other word. I don't get how they can't vilify their mom in a sense, because if you really like, I remember someone who wrote a book on Kyle's mom or the whole situation, that Kyle's mom pretty much made them have a competition amongst the three of them. Like she was very much about always trying to get another man to support her kids, but then all the while put all the weight on Kim to like get the family out of poverty, but then make it a competition between her and her sisters. So it's like the reason why they have such messed up family dynamics is because of their mom. And they like to act like their mom was such this great person. And I mean, she probably had great attributes and things of that nature. But I need them to start acting like, yeah, y'all mom did mess y'all up. Y'all mom added to the reason why y'all don't really get along the best way. So Kyle is just like, maybe I shouldn't know about it. And we move on from that scene. We then see a scene where Erica is on FaceTime doing a therapy session. And her doctor, I've seen that lady before. Her name was, I think it's like Jennifer Mann. She's been on a few reality shows. I low-key thought she was the doctor on that one season of Bad Girls Club with Red and all of them. And was it Jayla? The white girl who thought she was black and wanted to be black so hard. But I don't think that's her because that lady had a different look. But this lady has been on several reality shows. Maybe she was on that one reality show on VH1. What's that show? Where they were like talking to the families. it wasn't Marriage Boot Camp because that's on WeTV or like Family Boot Camp or whatever it's called. There was some VH1 show that had that one doctor with the white comb over, and he had the glasses, and he also used to host Teen Mom. Y'all probably don't even know who I'm talking about. But it's just like, she looks so familiar, and I was like, I've seen this lady before, but I can't pinpoint what show I remember her being on. But her and Erica are having this discussion, and she's basically trying to help Erica get through her struggles. Erica basically told her, like, I'm having a hard time seeing the finish line of where I'm like, okay, I'm settled and like there's an end goal to all of this. Whereas when she was going through everything last year where it was like lawsuit after lawsuit, and she kind of just felt like, okay, she knew when it was going to be over eventually. She's now at a point where it's like, okay, this is my life now. How do I navigate it? And she's having issues with it. And the therapist basically was saying, like, if you don't confront these feelings, then it's going to take longer. If you meet it head on, you'll eventually get to a place where you can accept all of this. And the therapist had a point. The only thing that I kind of like, my eyebrow was raised where I was like, girl, what? Is when, she told Erica, like, you should always attack things as like being on guard or always expect people to come at you, because Erica was basically telling her like she hates that she's lashing out and that like certain things really trigger her, and then she meets it with like anger. And the therapist just tells her, like, you grew up in a household where you weren't ready, like you weren't allowed to express your emotions. So now you're at a point where that's all you're doing, and you kind of don't know how to regulate them because you didn't learn how to do that early on as a child, which it's a lot of y'all out there. It's a lot of y'all out there. Yeah, it is. It is. And she talks to Erica about, it's okay for you to feel the way you feel. You were with a man that you thought you really knew, and right now you're grieving the loss of that situation. And they always talk that way about divorce. A lot of people talk about divorce as it's like there's a grieving process where you are mad, you are angry, then you're like bargaining, you're like delusional and all that other stuff about it. And they do a montage of like when we first met Erica and how great her and Tom's relationship seemed to be. And then they showed the parts of where Tom had a little mean streak in him and would lash out at times. Erica even said in the confessional where she was just like, I want to believe that he didn't do these things intentionally, like stuff got away from him, and this is where we're at. But I think she's come to the realization that like he did do this stuff intentionally. And I mean, I think she already knew. You can't tell me that she didn't know that like something in the milk wasn't clean. Now, do I think she knew like wholeheartedly what was going on? No, I really don't. Unless they can have evidence, like, because I feel like if they would have really known that Erica would have been a part of it, she'd be getting locked up like Jen on Salt Lake City. But I do feel like she knew something wasn't right, but instead of like, she looked away from it instead of really like investigating it. And now that it's like, the mask was pulled off of this whole entire situation, she's kind of left trying to pick up the pieces of her life to like cope with what happened. And she's kind of like looking for grace in a sense from everybody. But a lot of people don't have grace for her, because at the end of the day, Erica is still able to live a decently lavish lifestyle. It might not be on the level of what she was at, where like I told y'all, if it was Wednesday and they wanted to go to like the Bahamas, Dubai, Maldives, it was nothing for them to get on a jet, chartered, and be out. Now, it's going to take a couple of months, maybe even 2 or 3 years for her to plan to go to the places and save her money. So it's a different thing. She's just a regular person like all of us. But the real people who are the victims are the people who were, it's like shifted. Was it shifted? It's not shifted. Is it shortchanged? Yeah, shortchanged by Tom and his corporation and like his law firm. People who are promised that money to help them have a decent life never got their money. So it's like you can slightly feel bad for Erica, but then you also, when you start to think about the real people who were harmed, it's kind of like, yeah, girl, your feelings are valid, but theirs, it's they a little up here, and you a little right down here. So you got to put it into perspective. That's why people looking at you crazy, because they just like, Why is it not clicking? But then again, you think to yourself, like, you're not in her shoes. And I know it's kind of like, well, everyone's probably like, okay, Leah, we not in her shoes. So, but like still, and I get that, but then it's kind of like, I think about, hey, you don't have to deal with that. We don't have, that's an aspect of our lives we don't have to deal with. Like, we ain't married no old man, and then probably didn't even think this would happen, or if it was gonna happen, he be dead and gone, or you be dead and gone once they found out shit was up, was up, stuff was messed up, or something in the milk wasn't clean. But now here she is, almost about to be 50, and got to figure it all out again. That's a scary feeling, and I can understand how she feels, but she also has to understand like the perception of herself that she is giving everybody. That it's like, that's the reason why people don't have sympathy or empathy for you, ma'am. It is what it is. But let's move on to the next couple of scenes. All right. So we are going to Erica's Pretty Mess hair extension pop-up shop. And y'all, I Googled how much them extensions were. And I wish there was a brand I could compare it to. But I'm just going to talk in the guise of like my community. And extensions don't normally cost that much. Like, I went on her website. She has like like basic extensions for like $600. And then she has like, the clip-in extensions, but then she also has the extensions that I know people do the, what are they called? The fuse extensions. I've seen those done a couple of times. And then she has like ponytails. And honestly, the clip-ins, I guess if they're really good quality, like human hair, then yes. But it's the ponytail where I was like, who is paying $360 for a ponytail? When I can tell you, if you don't take your ass down to Sally's and go to that little area in front of Sally's where they got platinum bond ponytails, and learn how to put some clip-ins on there and clip that thing on your ponytail and wrap it with some other weave, I was like, you get what you get if you buy it. If you spend that much money on a $360 for a ponytail, bro. A pony. And mind you, let me see how long this ponytail is. Cause that's the thing. Maybe it's the length that you paying for. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're paying for the length. Cause no, ma'am. Okay, it starts off at 18 inches to 26 inches. I still, y'all, I just, not for $360, y'all. I'm sorry. On some real, I'm telling y'all, my people, because I have a few people who are part of, the ivory and palm color community, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. But if you go and buy these extensions and you don't hop your happy dappy behind on this good old YouTube internet, well, not internet, but Google, but on this YouTube app, and find you somebody that look like you to show you how to make you a cheap ponytail, because I'm telling you, you don't go to Sally's, legit. I've made my own extensions. If you don't get you some needle and thread and sew them clip-ins and clip that on your hair, $360 for a ponytail. And mind you, they sell ponytails at the beauty supply in blonde. And if you want them ponytails is like $20. I ain't never seen a ponytail, maybe 30 if it's long. Because I have seen people buy ponytails from the beauty supply store that are $30. But it's like, that ponytail is a good 32 inches. And you swinging it around like a lasso. But girl, no. Girl, don't. But we're at Erica's pop-up shop. Everybody comes except Kyle. We know Kyle's in Georgia filming for the movie. Garcelle had to film an episode for the reel, and then Kathy just was a no-show. She didn't tell anybody she wasn't coming. No, I think she told Crystal she was coming and just decided she didn't want to be bothered with these ladies. So we see everybody sit down. Everyone's happy. Sutton and Erica have a cute interaction. They're trying to work on being in a better place. We then see Lisa Rinna. I think Lisa Rinna should keep her hair, wear wigs or put extensions in her hair, because the whole chopped, hairstyle is not doing it for me. And I know that's been her signature hairstyle, I think, since like the 60s or something. I said the 60s. Oh my gosh, she ain't that old. The 80s. I think like the late 80s. I know in the 90s that's her. I didn't watch like soap operas, so I could tell you. I know a few people that, like, if I see their faces, I know they're on a soap opera, but like, that is not what my grandmother watched. Like, if it wasn't In the Heat of the Night, Matlock, Murder, She Wrote, or Law and Order, we didn't watch, or Martell Jordan, we were not watching. My grandma just did not get into soaps like that. So I don't really know what soap opera Lisa Rinna was on. But I know she's had that hairstyle for a hot minute, like a good hot minute. So I just feel like switch it up. Like, you're no longer a part of that. That's no longer a part of your life. So change it. But then again, I know it's kind of like Ariana and that ponytail. It's a signature. Like, when you see it, you know who that person is. Same with like Beyonce. People show Beyonce with the golden honey blonde hair with the big waves. You know, like, even if they're like, you don't even see someone draw the person's face. Oh, that's going to be Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? They even do that with Mariah or Whitney with the certain hairstyle she wore. Even Patti LaBelle. So I get it. But like, they switch it up. I need her to switch it up. But she got on this jean like denim outfit. It actually looked really nice on her. I was just mad that Lisa told us she rented it. And there's nothing wrong against renting, but I was like, it adds to the effect of people feeling like Lisa is poor and thirsty, and like she's the person on the cast who makes the least. Because I was like, Lisa, and then now, and I heard that article that was being shopped around that Lisa was saying she wanted $2 million to come back to Bravo for season 13, which she ain't gonna never get, because nobody is really getting paid that much on Bravo anymore, because people don't really watch TV like that. They normally stream. So it's like they're not getting the views, so they're not going to have enough advertisement dollars to pay her. And Lisa Rinna ain't really been the Lisa Rinna that we had when she first got on the show. Like, girl, you ain't hit like grits since like 2000 and like maybe 16 or 15. So I need you to like lower your value just a little bit. Lower the worth just a little bit, know your worth, but lower it just a little bit. So she tells Dorit, she was like, because Dorit is like, oh my God, this outfit is beautiful on you. And she's like, yeah, I rented it. And she was like, you can rent anything. I said, Lisa, we didn't need that, okay? We didn't need that. We get it. And I'm not knocking her renting the outfit, because I know for a fact that most of the pieces that we see on like runways or like that celebrities wear off, that they see is something off the runway, or we see them on red carpets or doing like interviews. Most of the outfits they have on are rented pieces. I know that for a fact, that, and they're like either one of a kind, or they only make like a few of them, and then they give them immediately back to the people that design them, and the people use them, and like they have them as like showroom pieces. So I'm not knocking that. It was just the way that she did it that just came off like desperate to me. Like you can rent anything. Girl, we know about layaway. We know about payment plans. We not stupid. So while they're at the bar talking, Dorit tells Lisa that like, hey, I had a conversation with Kathy. She was very apologetic. She really is just like, she said her behavior she couldn't condone. And I told her that she should probably have this conversation with you, and she should probably apologize. And and Lisa was like, yeah, she definitely needs to apologize. Lisa's whole thing is like, Kathy tried to silence her, and she will not be silenced. And to her credit, Kathy did try to tell that girl, don't say nothing, because they showed the text messages again. And the first text message is Kathy saying, please do not say anything we discuss. Otherwise it will make a huge scene that everyone gets dragged into. No bueno. Then the next thing she said is, please, it goes further than you would want to know. Silence is golden. I'm staying silent. And then she said heart emojis. And then we find out that Kathy did do several interviews with Entertainment Tonight on IG Live, and basically lied, where she was like, she was at the house by herself, but we know, because Kathy confirms that Lisa Rinna was there with her. She also said that like she didn't really make that big of a scene, but everybody else was like, yeah, she kind of lost her top. So I get why Lisa is upset, but I also Lisa's dragging it. And like I said in my last episode, Kathy took an L in front of a person she never should have took an L in front of. Lisa Rinna is the type of person you never want to do dirt with. You never want to say nothing slick about somebody, because either one, she's going to use it to her advantage and like dangle it over your head like a rabbit with a carrot to a rabbit, or two, she is just going to like drive it home. Like she's going to keep pressing that button until you either snap out on her or until you find dirt equally as bad on her. So Kathy just kind of dug herself into a hole, in my thinking is like, you're trying to get ahead of the story by saying that all these things didn't happen, but then later on in this episode you confirm that you did do those things. So it's like you lied. Like your credibility is kind of shot, ma'am. But like I told y'all, I already thought she did it anyway. So they're all sitting down. They talk about what really set Kathy off or what happened. Cherie is there, which I'm surprised she's there without Garcelle, but I think Cherie is trying to network with the other ladies because it seems like the other women do like her, like Lisa, specifically Lisa, Erica, and Diana. And I think Cherie is in her mind trying to plan a strategy because she does want to have a diamond that if her and Garcelle, or if Garcelle can't get her on this show, one of these ladies might continuously invite her to be a part of these events. So she's there. She says that, when I came to the hat place, Kathy was outside and she seemed very upset, like to the point where she was shaking. And they were like, really? And they flash back to that scene. And basically, this was after Kathy got really pissed that Lisa ordered Kendall Jenner's vodka. Was it her vodka? Yeah. Kendall Jenner's vodka. And so, or was it tequila? No, it was her tequila. Because like I told you, I'm a tequila. It was her tequila. And Lisa knew what she was doing. She was pressing Kathy's buttons. And it worked because Kathy fed into it. So Kathy got upset and, dipped outside. So then Lisa's in her confession like, oh my gosh. Was I the reason of this? I can't believe she was so upset about me ordering like the Kardashians, tequila. It's because she was jealous of the Kardashians' fame. And I was like, Lisa, how did it go from Kendall Jenner being your friend to now the Kardashians tequila to now Kathy's jealous of them? Girl, I don't think Kathy is jealous of them. They low-key almost have the same net worth because both of their children grew up in are famous. We all know Paris. We all know Nikki. Just like we all know them over there, the Kardashian clan. So I was just like, Lisa, girl, she's dragging it. So then Diana chimes in and they talk, and then we get a confessional of her and her Mary Kay fashions. You can't tell me Diana don't got a pink Cadillac somewhere. She has got to have a pink Mary Kay Cadillac somewhere. But she talks about how Kathy knows the game. So Diana says she gave the bartender the DJ $200 so that he could serve them drinks. And he did. And Diana's whole thing is like, most people in the club industry, they want money. So they work for tips. So you tip them, you'll get the best service. So it seems like Kathy was upset because they wouldn't play Billie Jean. And that the DJ was kind of like waving her off and telling her to go back to LA. And Crystal was like, well, it is kind of cringe. Nobody really wants to play Billie Jean, Michael Jackson. And I'm looking at Crystal like, ma'am, you're damn near 40. You grew up on Michael Jackson. Let's not try to act like, okay, I get it. The allegations are the allegations, but we're not trying to act like you don't still play them songs. Like, I'm not even going to lie. If, I know they gonna play Thriller out the frame and I'm going to dance. I'm gonna do the leg thing. I'm gonna dance, because it's Thriller. So I was just looking at Crystal and then I had to Google a millennial because I was like, are you still a millennial though? But then I found this thing that said she would be considered a geriatric millennial, and because they consider millennials people from the age of who were born, I think it said 1980 to 1998 would be a millennial. And then everybody else after 1998 is considered part of Gen Z and stuff like that. And I was just like, Crystal, girl, stop. So I was just like, she's like, because I am a millennial. I was like, girl, okay, you're the youngest. We get it, Crystal. It was cute last episode. Now it's becoming cringe. So Crystal thing is also, she doesn't really believe Lisa Rinna. She believes her friend Kathy, and she's entitled to that because her and Kathy are actually really friends. So they're sitting down. You can tell that Erica and Lisa really don't see it for Kathy, because the way Erica was like, when Diana was like, well, Kathy should know, like she was born into this. I've only been in this for a little while. And Erica's whole thing is like, she married into it. She wasn't born into it. But you know, we all were married into it. She was throwing her slick shots too. So it's seemingly like they really like Erica and Lisa really don't like Kathy. So, or are creating this, like, they're mounting an assault on Miss Kathy. They're coming for a lady. They coming for her. But that's the name of the game of being on Real Housewives. Like, they pick somebody and then they go for it. So they all asked her, like, well, what did she say? Like, did she say things like, she just said everything about Kyle? Then Lisa's like, she said everything, like, she said things about all of us. And they're like, well, what did she say? She's like, I can't get into it, you guys. I can't. I said, Lisa, because you say you can't get into it, but then you get into it. That's the part that's wild to me. She then gets into it in the confessional, because she basically says that Kathy said Crystal and Dorit were basically non-mother effing factors. Nods the hat to Evelyn Lozado. Cause she was like, I don't even know why I'm here with these people. I'm Kathy. Basically, I'm Kathy Hilton. Y'all are nobodies. She then Lisa even said that Kathy said Dorit was like Dorit was stupid and kind of like beneath her. So it's like, I can believe Kathy said those things. I know y'all love Kathy right now, but I can believe Kathy said those things. I'm not about to sit here and act like somebody that wealthy would not look at the people around her and be like, ugh, we're not going to do those things over here. So they decide to move on from that conversation, which I'm happy. And then we go to the meetup between No, we were talking about that. Erica and Sutton actually. So like I said, Sutton and Erica sit down. They're having Popeye's chicken on fine china. Mind you, Popeye's is good, but the way Sutton was scarfing down that macaroni and cheese, I was like, it's nasty. I'm sorry. I was so mad. I'm like, they gave us macaroni and cheese as a substitute for their dirty rice. I'm glad they bring the dirty rice back, because don't nobody want no macaroni and cheese from no fast food place. Same with Chick-fil-A trying to do that. I think the only place that I've had like decent, and decent is not saying a lot, was from Panera Bread, but that's only because it was the barbecue macaroni and cheese, and they put the barbecue stuff in the macaroni and cheese. So it was like macaroni and cheese with, I think, bacon, and then like shredded, like pulled, like not chicken, was it pulled pork? I feel like it was pulled pork on top of it with the barbecue sauce, and it was like zesty barbecue sauce. So it was good, but I was like, ain't nothing I'm gonna write home about. So I'm just kind of looking at something like, really, it's cause your taste buds, they off. But they sit down. Erica comes over and they just talk. And I know a lot of people hate that Sutton is cool with Erica, but kind of like Erica and Sutton have a lot more in common than we all thought. They're both from the South. They're both from Georgia. They are both married into wealth, as well as like they both are divorcing men. And I think Sutton's whole thing is like, I want to see you win, because I've been in the same place where I got divorced and really didn't know what to do or where to go. And like, I want to see you win. And that's the thing, like Sutton has honestly been a genuine friend to Erica. Erica's just been shitty. That's what it is. Erica just has not been a good friend, because Sutton has been the only person, like I've been saying, that offered to give her a loan, get her an attorney, got her like a divorce care package. Like Sutton has really put into like wanting to like be there for Erica, and Erica has been the one with the nasty attitude. So you can tell that Sutton wants to relate to Erica, but if I was Sutton, I would be careful. Because you really don't know. Like with Erica, you don't know. As much as like I can give Erica a slight bit of grace for how she's going through things, it doesn't like condone all the nasty things that she said to Sutton. Because at the end of the day, Sutton wasn't the only one. She wasn't the only one that was asking questions. A lot of your friends were asking questions but didn't have the balls enough to ask it to your face. At least that lady confronted you head on with no problems and no issues. So they talk. Sutton even is trying to give her advice now, talking about like, I get that like the lashing out is what you got to stop. And she was like, if you could put a little bit more compassion in your voice, things probably would be perceived even better. And Erica's like, well, I want compassion. And I'm like, I get that. We all want compassion, especially if we're going through tough and hard times. But Erica needs, like I said in the beginning, perspective. You may have lost a lot, but other people have lost far more. And at this point, your feelings are valid and they do matter, but they don't matter compared to the people that's been out there like that, you know? Like, perspective. Put it in order. You know what I mean? But they have a sweet scene and they move on. So we then have this sit down with Kathy. Kathy, I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all love Kathy. But in this scene, Kathy pissed me off. Kyle pissed me off. And Lisa Rinna really pissed me off. Kathy walks up to Kyle's house. First of all, the way she ripped that flower out that bush gave me flashbacks. My mom loves plants. If she were to ever see us do that without getting the proper like scissors to cut them out, oh, she'd have a fit. Because what you're not gonna do is mess up her aesthetic and her bushes that she's been taking care of for a while. I was like, girl, do you just be going to people's houses and yanking flowers out their bushes? I was like, rude. She pops in. It's awkward. Kyle is clearly like uncomfortable. She's trying to make coffee for both of them or tea or whatever. And she's just like, she really doesn't want to have this conversation. I think she says she'd rather eat glass right now than talk about this. So then they sit down and they have the conversation. And off the bat, Kathy apologizes because she knows she messed up. And Kyle's whole thing is like, the things that you said or the things that I've were told to me that you said about me, they make me feel like you hate me. And she was just like, you and Kim don't really be supporting me, and I really want your support. Then Kathy was like, no, Kyle asked Kathy, well, why did you say those things? Kathy gonna blame it on the altitude and the alcohol. I was like, ma'am, you said things that you meant. And I think that's the issue when it comes to them Richard sisters, or all three of them, is that they always are backpedaling and like pussy popping and not owning what they say. Kathy in this moment to me looked like she know what she did was wrong, because had the roles been reversed and Kyle said some slick shit about Kathy would be just as upset. Because when Kyle started crying, Kathy was like, no, Kyle, like, don't do that. And I'm like, why are you telling your sister not to cry when the things that you said about her, even you know that they hurt? Because you wouldn't be apologizing. Like, you really wouldn't be apologizing if you know those things. Like you know what you said was wrong. So they're having this conversation. Kyle ends up saying, she was just like, I make time. Like and that's the thing. Kathy tried to like subvert the conversation and throw it back at Kyle and be like, well, you don't really come around the family. And I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about right now is that you was talking cash money trash about me. My friend heard it, decided to tell me, and now you're upset because everybody is talking about it amongst the group, and you don't like the narrative that's being pushed out there when you are the one that contributed to it. Like, you said those things about your sister, and Kathy should own them. But to then sit there and be like, oh, well, you don't come around. And I was with Kyle when Kyle was like, I make time for people that give me peace. And it ain't nothing for me to cut off my family if I need to. Like, I make time for my husband and my kids. And she right. Like, and it's weird to me because I get it. Kyle has not been a great sister in the regards of Kim. Like, y'all, Kim is the queen of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And we've seen the way she has treated Kim. We've seen the way how she has picked other people against Kim. So I get people being like, Kyle's doing it again. She's picking Lisa Rinna's side. But my thing is, I'm not going to sit here and act like if my friend told me my sister said this, and this, and then I asked my sister and she confirms that she said those things, I'm not going to be pissed and look at you funny. Like, I'm not going to be looking at you like, so why'd you say that shit? Why? Why did you say it? Like, and nothing was that bad at that hotel because they didn't play Billie Jean that you needed to go get in the car and have a full-on meltdown because I wouldn't come home with you. So I think it's weird that everyone's like, Kyle this and Kyle that, when it's like, no, Kathy admitted she admitted that she said those things. So I don't get why everyone's trying to put it all on Kyle, and then to see Kathy try to like redirect the conversation and be like, well, you don't talk, like, you don't come around. And I'm like, well, I don't want to come around somebody who don't like me, whether that be family. Like, I don't care if that's a friend or a family. If you don't like me, I don't go. I gotta be like, I don't go to places where I'm tolerated. Like, if you don't want to be around me, we don't have to be around each other. And then for Kyle to be like, Kathy will call me, but she'll be like, I need to talk to you. It's something important. And then I get anxious, which I've been there. And then when we talk, it's just her ranting. So I do be ignoring her calls. I ain't gonna lie. So I was just like, okay, that's normal. Y'all are acting like, it's just weird to me because I've seen people online and like other reviews be like, well, you should answer those calls. No, I should not. If it's gonna mess up me and how I'm feeling and make me anxious and make me uncomfortable, then I'm not having this conversation with you. Get over it and move on. So Kathy ends up saying, mom would be proud of you, this, and this. They end up like having a moment and hugging. Kyle ends up crying. Kathy is really hugging her sisters tight. And then Kyle tells her like, yo, Lisa's coming over. And you can kind of see that Kathy is like, ugh, really? And so Lisa comes over. Kathy tries to do that whole like stick of being like, howdy partner. And Lisa looking at her like, girl, I'm not on that. So Lisa sits down. Kathy tries to apologize. Kathy basically, her whole thing is like, well, we like, I said some things I shouldn't have said. You're going through a lot with your mother. I shouldn't have said those things around you or put you in that place. Lisa puts 20 on 10 talking about she locked herself into her room because she's like, you were having an episode. Then calls the lady damn near crazy. Then says the woman has a black heart. And I looked at Kyle like, girl, if you don't check that, because even though you and your sister ain't like this, I'm not going to let no girl call my sister, even friend or not, I'm not gonna let you call my friend. Tell my sister she got a black heart. Like, girl, that was too far. And I looked at Kyle like, say something. Like, this is where you cut the conversation. You cut the conversation and you move on. Then you can tell that Lisa Rinna is like very happy that she got Kathy Hilton like on the ropes. Like, she's like, you could see the smirks and the grins, and she looked like the one with the black heart right there. And so Kathy starts trying to blame it on like her friend that has cancer that unfortunately is dying. And I'm like, okay, your friend is passing away, but that doesn't negate the fact that you said very terrible things about the people in the group that you're in. And I get it, you might be like very high strung. It might be a stressful situation, but that doesn't make it okay that you said those things about people. So Kathy starts like crying. Lisa Rinna is looking evil. And I don't know why, but I started laughing because I was like, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? Because you got Kyle looking at Kathy, tearing up too. And I do think the lady actually passed away, because I remember before this season was even started, maybe we were in the first couple of episodes, I saw something on some reality site that said that unfortunately a friend of Kyle's and Kathy's had passed away, like a close like friend. So maybe that's the person that they were talking about. Kathy even said like she hadn't even told Kyle that person was sick, and so they both start crying. Erica's sitting there, and then Kathy basically is subsequently like, I don't want to have this conversation no more. I don't want to have this conversation no more. She even says that Kathy even says like Lisa, you can be just as nasty, and she can. And I will say, since they had gotten there, Lisa Rinna low-key had been like slightly picking at Kathy, but I think she made it worse when they were at the tequila thing. The tequila thing set it off, but I just think she just got tired. Like, certain people can't be in these types of reality shows, and you can't tell me that Kathy didn't have a moment, because I'm not gonna ever forget Kathy being on her husband's Instagram, texting him, saying like posting, "Come get me," and people in the comments saying, "Girl, this is not text message. We can all see this," and her being like, she wants out of here, like she's tired of being around these women. So I'm just like, something happened, and Kathy confirmed it by apologizing to her sister and saying the things that she said they shouldn't have been said. And I don't get why everyone's trying to act like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Granted, all these women do have meltdowns. They all have their moments where they like They wild out. We've seen it. We've seen Lisa Rinna do it, where she threw that glass at Kim when Kim said, "Let's talk about the husband." Lisa lost her. That was good TV, because Kim looked at her like, "If you want to play, let's play. If you want to play, let's play." And she threw the glass on the table. You then have, and that's the other thing. Kathy trying to say, every time I see that lady, I think about her trying to assault my sister. But you was cool with her last season. So let's not try to bring up the dark past about Lisa and between Kim when you didn't have a problem with Lisa last season. Y'all were all cool. So I was like, I see what you doing, Kathy. I see it. I get it, but I see it. And like we've seen Erica have a moment. We've seen all these women have a moment. The only people we haven't, no, we've seen all of them. Garcelle cussed out Dorit and told Dorit, you know it, F you with that. We've seen Dorit go off. We've seen everybody on this show go off. I think the only person we haven't seen really like go off might be Crystal, but then again, we have seen Crystal yell at people. So nobody is like exempt from it. It's just the simple fact that it's Kathy. They want to make a big deal about it. And we don't really know what was said. So everyone's just going off of speculation. So right now, everyone's either like, it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. I just feel like it had to be something that she said that was out of pocket for her to like to be apologizing like this. And like saying like, you know, like the words she said wasn't that serious, because she was just like, I didn't think anybody would know. So you said some shit you ain't had no business saying. Pretty much is what she confirmed in this episode for me. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got. Next episode, I think, is the season finale. And we actually might see Kyle stick up for her sister. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That's all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in them comments below. Deuces.